Good morning, everybody. Ben Mays with ClearNav Instruments. Today, we have been setting up our next latest video for the setup of the ClearNav Vario 57 round display and the ClearNav Vario Square Display. This will take you through going to the website, downloading a factory stick, building a profile, putting all the information in the right stick, getting the correct updater. And then it will take you into the unit and set up your settings on both the units, download the waypoints, update your profile, and make sure you're right on the correct version number. In this video, we are also using version 3.8, which if you already have the ClearNav color display, that's what you get with the ClearNav color display. If you have the ClearNav square display, what's available on the website right now is 3.6 software. This 3.8 is going to update and make all the images on your ClearNav square display a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper, and it's also going to unlock some new features that the color display locks, like our navigation ribbon, which I'll show you later. So if you stay tuned all the way through and you like the video, click like and subscribe at the end. That way we can continue producing the content you like. Also, below in the descriptions, if you're only looking for one specific part, like the ClearNav build or the ClearNav utility tool build, or just the navigation, the screen, or just the profile, look in the description below. Everything will be timestamped. It'll take you to that exact spot in the video. So I hope you enjoy.
Hello everybody, here we are at the ClearNav.net website. We're going to start out setting up our ClearNav Variometer factory stick. So we first need to come in and we're going to have to do a few things to start out. We are going to build a profile. We're going to make sure we have the correct ClearNav updater, and we're going to make sure we download the correct turn points and everything. So here we are on the ClearNav.net to start that out. I currently have an 8 gig stick plugged into my computer. If I open up my file explorer and find my USB drive, it's currently empty, but it's about an 8 gigabyte stick is the right size. So this is the main, the homepage for ClearNav.net. We can see there is our ADC, our air data computer for the ClearNav Vario. Here's our CNVs, ClearNav Vario Square Display that we're setting up. So we're going to come on to start our factory stick. We're going to come click on the downloads button. For my ClearNav Variometer, it's the first item here. Currently, we are working for the ClearNav Square Display. We are at 3.6.4512. That's my zip file. This video we're going to shoot is going to display 3.8 software. The 3.8 software is for the ClearNav 57 round color display, but it is also available for the ClearNav Square Display. The 3.8 software jump is available for both units, both displays. It cleans up the square display, and you'll see that in the later part of the video when we actually go into the unit and make the update to both the side-by-side version of the 57 round color display and the CNV square display. When you're looking at that, if you want that up, you need to contact ClearNav Direct. And there is an up cost going to 3.8 for the older units, but we can make that happen. In that case, you'll still get the same zip file, and all of these same steps will be necessary. So backing up now, we're going to download the CNV software 3.6.4512. I'm going to click the download button. It's going to download on my screen here. As soon as I get that downloaded, I want to immediately drag and drop this zip file onto the root directory of the ClearNav of my USB stick. Very important, the root directory is the first folder you get in here. It's not under a subdirectory. Every time you open a folder, that's another subdirectory. I want to be on the root directory of the stick, so the base level of the stick. I'm going to download, I'm going to drag over 3.6.45 and drop that in the stick. I'm actually going to come down here because we're going to work with 3.8.6332 is what I'm going to be showing you today. So we're going to work on 3.8, but it's the exact same process for either or here. And now we have our 3.8.632 in our zip file. we're also going to need to come back here. And if you have never done the utility, use the CNV utility, you're going to have to download the zip file and install the utility for the PC installation. So that'll be the next step. We're going to open up now we're going to just be working on we've downloaded everything we need to from the ClearNav website. If you need more and you're doing a ClearNav Vario and a ClearNav 2 flight computer setup, you can download your 2 or your ClearNav 1 factory sticks down here. For now, we're going to leave the ClearNav website and we're going to work solely on the root directory of the ClearNav USB stick. I'm going to right click. I'm going to extract files. I want to extract them to my USB. I want them to stay here. There is my extracted file. I can now go and delete this zip file for my stick. I don't want a bunch of extra stuff on my stick, so we're always going to start deleting. Permanently delete from this folder? Yes. I'm going to open the unzipped file. I will find a CNV updater. I will find default. These are my ClearNav CNV profiles, ClearNav Vario profiles for either Australia, the metric unit, the UK, or the US. So I'm going to take and I'm going to control click the default US and the ClearNav updater. I'm going to cut. I'm going to back out one level. So I'm back on my root directory of the USB. I can see I'm here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to paste. I come up here and I'm going to delete this other folder here. So now I have my CNV updater for my 3.8.35 stick, and I have my default profile for my ClearNav Vario profile. I need to have downloaded, unzipped, and downloaded the CNV profiler, which was just a few steps as you follow along. And so I have now pulled the CNV updater and the default CNV profile for the US out of that extracted file. And now I'm ready to work on my CNV profile. I like to start from the default profile because it has all the right metrics in there. You can adjust everything as you get in, but you don't want to start from scratch just after you downloaded the CNV profile generally. So I'm going to double click and open after I have had my profiler installed. I'm going to open up the CNV utility. So I am going to start by, I'm just going to come down. I can see everything is highlighted and opened. I am going to change my profile name. I always make the profile name my competition ID. So in this case, I'm going to do it for ASW24. I'm going to look up OJ. Oh, Oscar Juliet is my contest ID. If I have a default pilot name, if I'm doing it for a specific pilot, I might put their name in here. So I'm just going to do WSC. That's the Williams Soaring Center. And today's date is going to be 5 of 22. Oops. Turned off number lock. 5 of 22. The description notes, you can make anything. I'm going to put in CNV profile demo. And click next. So pilot name, B Mays. I don't have a co-pilot, single place glider, but if I'm flying a 2-place glider and need it, I can put it in there. Next. All right, here are my units. I can select any unit, any branch units, but this is what we're going to use here. So my distance is in statute miles. My airspeed I want to see in knots. My cross-country speed I want to see in miles per hour. I actually like seeing it in knots, so I'm going to change that. My altitude I want to see in feet. My variometer I want to see it read out in knots. My weight, I'm going to put in my weight in pounds. My ballast, I want to fill my ballast by how many US gallons I have. So this is when you're going to set in how much water you've put in. You can put that I've added 20 liters. You can put that I've added 10 gallons, or you can put the specific amount of pounds when it comes to your ballasted weight. My wing area, I'm going to measure in, I actually like to keep that in meters squared and kilograms per meter squared, only because it, you can leave it in either one, but it's easier to find on the ClearNav unit there. Or sorry, not in the ClearNav unit, in the flight manual. Temperature, I want in Fahrenheit, and my pressure. Next, my glider. Glider, I'm going to change the make. Be Schleicher. Model. I said I'm going to do an ASW24. Registration number would be my N number. I'm going to leave that out. Serial number, I can put my serial number. Again, I said competition ID. We're going to make Oscar Juliet. Next, now I have to enter my puller. Luckily, I have pullers set in for all of the different gliders. So Discus B or ASW24 15-meter glider with the proper weight here. I have a 27 puller, I have a 29, a discus, a nimbus, duodiscus, 15 meter, 18 meter options. So let's start with the 24. I can delete the other ones if I don't want them to show up. So we're going to delete everything except let's just start here, and I'm going to confirm this puller. So we're going to change this to ASW24. My wingspan is 15 meter. My wing area, so this is where I'm going to have to come in and find this data on for my glider. So I can look at my flight manual. Here I have all the data on our Williams website already. So I'm going to slide down here and enter. So 15 meter wingspan, wing area is 10.0. My dry weight, so my dry weight has to be my flying weight. It's not just my empty weight. Here I can see my empty weight's 507, but I'm a 180-pound pilot. I can go and get this from my actual flying weight in my weight and balance. But since we'll go with, let's say I was a 200-pound pilot, so from a 500-pound empty weight plus my 200-pound pilot weight, let's go with 707 pounds, about 200 with the parachute on. Maximum ballast. I can put maximum of 50 gallons. You can find that water. You can convert the water weight to maximum ballast weight there in US gallons. I'll show you kilograms per meter squared. So I can do that. My best glide ratio, I have a 44:1 glide. My best glide speed. So I have to find my best glide. So you have to decide which puller you're on. But let's go with 55 knots, which is about here. That looks about right for me for 44. And my -2 meters per second speed, we're going to scroll down. There's 2 meters per second. Where does that cross? It's about 90, yeah, I call it 92, 93, somewhere in there. Or you can do it by kilometers an hour. So we're about 170 knots. That looks good. I can view the puller and see if those look fairly close. I believe they do. There would be my ballasted versus my unballasted weights. And the wing area looking right. Okay. I'll close that. Now we're going to go down to our Vario settings. So we're going to set up cruise climb switching. So the switching between climb mode and cruise mode. I like auto switching. If you have a manual switch, you want to do that, you can change that. Auto switching works really well. Audible chime, I turn that on. It's a little chirp, 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 when you switch from cruise to climb mode. So as you're flying along and you hear that beep, as you pull up into the thermal, you know your Vario's switched. Or if you hear that chime, you look down at your Vario, maybe something else triggered the switch. Preemptive climb. I like the preemptive climb setting. The XC means it's only with the XC licensing, but we've kind of So I enable my preemptive climb. I'll show you what that is in the video later, but it's basically over, if you're flying with Netto, it's going to come up with a little box as you come into a ClearNav, and it's going to estimate that total energy over the last 5 seconds and say, hey, if you turn now, we believe the average should be in this range. It's kind of a nice little gray box that pops up you can see. Speed to fly. Do you like no speed to fly, classic, or block speed? I fly block speed. You can turn on or off speed up and slow down tones if you don't want to hear the tones at all. I fly with the speed up and slow down tones just so I know if I'm really far out of range. And you can turn on or off the sync tones. I turn off sync tones when I'm in level flight. I don't want to hear a bunch of sync all the time. I can look down and see it, but if you want to hear it, it gives you the option to turn it on and off. The audio, do you want it to be Netto, relative, speed to fly, or TE? Relative is relative Netto, so that's taking out the 200 feet a minute you'd normally be syncing, where Netto is just reading the air. Do you want to hear your speed to fly all the way or your total energy? So I like to hear relative. I like the needle to display relative, but I want to see the average in Netto. That's why I like to see Netto. That way I can know, is this air mass going up or down? And my deadband, depending on what I'm flying, typically I'm flying a medium to a wide deadband. So the deadband is where you're not going to hear the block speed to fly tones. You know, it can either be about a 5-knot window before you, plus or minus a 10-knot window, or a 3-knot window is your medium, wide, or narrow. It can also be changed in flight, but this is the default every time you turn it on. And then in your climb settings, all it's asking you is, do you want to hear lifting and sinking tones? It's always going to play lifting tones, obviously. It's Vario. That's what we want to hear. But do you want sinking tones? You can turn off the sinking tones. So if you're coming around the backside and you start to fall out and you don't want it to get loud, you can turn that off. Totally customizable options. Next, we're going to come in and set up our pen connectors. So as you look through, there's a description up on the top, but whether you have an outside air temperature, that goes in probe 7 or 8. If you have a cruise climb switch, your spoilers, or your undercarriage, you select which pins you have wired those into as you're going. Then the home option, we can set a navigate home that it's always going to be default to that when you come in to the unit if you're flying from a specific site. So make sure you use the correct lat and long when you put this in, because otherwise it'll set your destination off and you'll have to come back in and edit the profile with the correct data. So name the home whatever you want. You can name it, in our case, Williams. I can find the latitude and longitude for Williams and set my field elevation. If you want to just select a point to navigate to before each flight too, you can do that. Finally, finish. So we come in. I don't want to discard the changes. We just set it all up. I could save it if I wanted it set to that the default profile name, but I don't want to. So I'm going to come here, File, Save As. I'm on my USB stick. I'm going to change this to OJ 5-22. So I know that that was done in March of 2022. And it's going to save as a CNV. Save. Awesome. So that concludes the profile setup. Now we're going to close the utility tool. So next in the setup, now if we go to our file explorer, I have a CNV update. I can now delete the factory profile. I have my OJ 522 profile. I'm ready to go. Next, I need if it's a brand new unit, I might need a license. We're not going to put the license on this stick. I might put the license on another stick here. But I do need turn points if this is the first time setting up. So we're going to go to the World Turn Point Exchange at this point. Oh, if you're not sure where to go there, we can start at williamsoaring.com, links, Soaring Turn Point Exchange. In this case, I'm flying out of Williams, California. So I can come along the top. This is already in North America. So California, I can click California and it'll pull me down there. There's Williams, made by Valley Soaring Association. I'm going to click on Williams. And I'm going to scroll down. I am going to select Files Formatted for Downloading and Importing into my program. As I scroll down, here are my airspace, my SUA files. I am going to click on the ClearNav download. There my download. There's my Williams-16 STX file. So I am going to take my download, stick it on my ClearNav factory stick. So now I have my ClearNav updater. Again, my 3.8 software. If you're not at 3.8, you'll be on 3.6 if you have the old square display. That's the newest one out there. My profile, and now my waypoints. Now I am ready to, again, I could also have a license on here if I needed a license for a new unit. If you're going to do that, this would also go in the root directory here. That would only be if you are putting a brand new, if you're licensing a new unit. And to do that, you're going to have to contact ClearNav direct. So we're going to, now our stick's all set up, we're going to extract the stick from the computer, and we're going to go plug it into our air data computer. All right, here we are in front of our ClearNav display unit. We have in front of us our CNVs, or ClearNav Vario Square Display, our CN2, ClearNav 2 Flight Computer, and CNVr, our ClearNav Vario with our 57 round color display. Our ClearNav 2 is on simulator mode right now. You can see it's simulating. Our CNV we have just installed. It is asking for a license, which is on my ClearNav factory stick that we have just created. So this factory stick again has 3.8 software on it. So we're gonna see an update and change to the CNV square display for the 3.8. It's currently running on 3.6. And our 3.8 is gonna enable our color display after we license this unit. So here we go. We're gonna plug in our stick with our updater. Software update, please wait. This might take a few seconds. So as soon as it finds that stick, it's gonna come in. This is very, very important. Every time you plug a stick into a unit, you have to know what is on there. You have to know what unit is on, what stick updater is on. Once it's updated, so this is going to 3.8. Once this is updated, you're fine. However, if I put in a newer or an older version and I have that on this stick, or a friend, more importantly, has a different unit on their stick and they plug it in, it'll change that updater. I can change it right back. It's not gonna break the unit, but it's just time. So never plug a stick into a device that you don't know what's exactly on it from a standpoint of updating. If you have extra stuff on that stick and you wanna keep it, make sure it is in a subdirectory, because anything on that root directory it's gonna grab a hold of. And it's gonna look for every single time you plug this in. So if you're just having a friend download a flight from a stick for you, and they have a different version of the ClearNav updater, it will adjust your unit. So make sure you know what you're doing there. We can see that it's updating our color 57.
Once the updating has complete, we will power cycle the unit.
All right, so here we are now. Our unit has power cycled, and they are now both with the correct version. I'm gonna check that version just to make sure. I'm gonna hold down the left arrow. I'm going to come into my info screen using the down arrow. I'm going to right click until I get to system information, version 3.8.6332. I can already tell on this display, notice how all the numbers are nice, rounded. It's one of the benefits you get with 3.8.
is the nicer, all the nicer numbers. All the same information we've always seen is displayed. I apologize about the no GPS screen, but in the office, we're gonna continue to see that. So looking at the CNVs first, some of the features that changed for both of them. We now have a ribbon to navigate. If I hit the right arrow, instead of clicking go to get MacCready to change and those information, that system has been deselected. If I click the left arrow, I'm back on the home screen, or the flying screen. Through the left arrow, I get a ribbon where I can now change up and down all of my devices. Also notice you don't hear the beeping all the time. When I change the MacCready, or if I change my speed to fly band from medium to wide to narrow, I will also have auto mute on. If you are not moving, it goes into auto mute mode, so you will not hear that all the time. After about 8 seconds, the ribbon goes away. There is no way to get the ribbon, turn the ribbon on and off in the ClearNav Vario Square Display. So once I make my selections, I just have to be patient for a few seconds. So again, click the left arrow, ribbon comes up. I can cycle over to volume, volume up, volume down. Again, you'll see it changing volume on this screen. The two are interconnected. Ballast, bugs. I can mark a point. I can change my Vario scale on the side to 4 knots all the way to 8 or 16 knots. I can change my speed to fly. Do I want to see a Vario? Do I want to see my block speed, chevron speed? Cruise climb override, force it into leave it alone, force it into climb mode, force it into cruise mode. Display auto wins. Again, if I leave it alone, it'll return. Now, looking at the ClearNav round color display, so I have, again, without GPS, I'm gonna have to just point some things out. In the purple above, that would be my destination I'm flying to. The purple kilometers would be my distance to. My feet would be extra altitude needed. My A here, this is my wind, the numeric heading and the speed. And I would also have a wind arrow relative to the glider. And here I have it in block speed to fly mode for my speed to fly numbers. So that's just the navigation. So again, if I click in on the right button, now I have a ribbon I can navigate. So the left encoder moves left to right. The right encoder moves up and down. So that's our navigation. If I take the left and spin fast to the right, I get the menu. If I spin it fast to the left, I get the flying screen. If I slowly cycle, I have all the same screens that I have in the ClearNav Vario Square Display. I will display all the screens later, but people who are upgrading will not need all that information. So we'll get to that in a minute. For now, we have on our ClearNav factory stick, we had waypoints we needed to upload. We had and we had our profile we needed to upload. So we're gonna come, we've moved all the way to the right with a quick spin. We're gonna go down, so we use the right encoder, come to tools. Now we're moving left, or moving right rather, right, download flights, waypoints and tasks. So this is where I can update my waypoints. There's my waypoints on my stick. Current, click bottom right to replace. These are my waypoints on my stick. There would be a list of all of them. Say I had Minden and Truckee pulled up, I could cycle through that list. And it does it on both. Out of ADC, click go to copy. Click go to the nav page. I can click go if I want to go to the nav page. So now I'm set. Waypoint options, profile. Profile, there's my profile I made, OJ 5.22. We're gonna click, it's gonna load, and it's gonna restart the unit. So now we should be ready to fly. We have there's auto mute kick on. We have our profile. We're running 3.8 software on both. We are running our correct profile. When this unit first pops up, and we have the proper waypoints, we're ready to go fly. I'm going to walk you through some navigation on both units and then wrap this video up. So when I first get in, it's going to ask me to set my altitude. Set my altitude, 67 feet here. I'm going to take the left and spin fast to the left. Now I'm on my flying screen. So pulled up here, I have my block speed to fly. I have my average displayed in netto. This is showing me my glide slope to my destination, so I'm well below glide to the destinations that not determined. But if it was in the middle, I'd be on glide. If it's up high, I'm above glide to my destination. It's changed from kilometers to feet, so altitude differential, and my statute miles to my destination. There's a few other things we're going to want to set up in the settings here. So we're going to take this left knob, spin it fast to the right to get to our settings. We're going to go down to glider settings. I'm going to come over. There's my altitude I could set again, my outside air temperature, my margin height. So I want to set a return margin to all airports that I'm gliding, or every airport I have selected, or turn point rather I have selected with my ClearNav Vario round display for navigation. I like to leave my margin height at 1,000 feet. You can set that to anything you would like. You can change your dry weight if needed. You can select your other pullers. So if you had that you're flying a ASG29 or an AS33 in 15 and 18 meter configuration, you can have different pullers for your 15 meter and your 18 meter config already saved in here. Continue to the right, and that would set, we're going to go down to Vario settings. Pointer response, 1 second is good. Audio response, 1 second is good. Cruise response, 10 seconds is good. Gust filtering, 0%. TE probe use, TE source. So if you have the TE plugged into the ADC, you can use that. Otherwise, you can turn it off and just do electric compensation. Just depends on how you have your unit set up. Probe percent, set local time, change volume, check the brightness. Gear spoiler warning, on or off. Thermal assist settings. Setup. We're on our thermal assist setup here. So very important. We want thermal assist. We would like it to say yes. You can turn it on or off. We want it enabled. Advanced ping, 10%. That's what I fly. There'll be a detailed video on thermal assist a little later. So 10% is good. You can change it, 20, 10, 0. Sound ping, yes, I want to hear an audible ping when it hits that 10% marker. Switching, I want auto. And my switch delay, usually I like a 180 switch. So this is determining how long it'll switch to climb mode as soon as you slow down and turn about 20, 30 degrees heading change in lift. The switch delay is when do you want the thermal assist to start up. So you can do it immediately, right when it goes into climb mode. I don't like it until it gets to about a 180 because that information isn't super useful on the screen anyway at that point, but you can pick either one. Continuing on past thermal assist. Again, there'll be a detailed video on what that thermal assist looks like. Display roles. I have my Vario default. I can put it in nav, or I can play a demo. And then I get back to my main screen. A couple other navigational features. So if I go down again, there's my information screen. I can find all the info. I need GPS data, my indicated true airspeed versus my GPS speed. sensor readings. I can go find, if I need to review my settings and forget where I'm at with my profile and whether I'm in relative or cruise, I can go look at those settings here, set my margin, know which glider I'm using. So if I'm going to change or want to build a new profile or help someone else build a profile, I can see what all my settings are here. But that's everything we did in the profiler tool. System information, I can come up with my hardware version. So if you're trying to fix, if you're trying to report a problem or send an issue into ClearNav for support, your serial number and your version number would be very helpful. What type of device you're using. And if we come down to tools, this is where I can download a flight. So if I found my flights, if I click the right encoder in, this is going to download the one flight on this unit onto my factory stick. That's all you need to download a flight. You can put any stick in there. Again, remember, do not stick a stick in the unit if it has an updater. And know what's on the stick before you plug it into the unit. My IGC intervals, what waypoints I currently have, waypoint options, my profile, my license, pilot events, outside air temperature, voltage, and that sets all of my information here. So if I spin fast, if I want to go back to the flight screen, again, fast spin, left knob, fast spin left, gets me to my flight screen. If I click in the left encoder, I can cycle through and change my settings here. So bugs, ballast, same thing that was on the ClearNav Vario Square Display. The only difference is the speed to fly. So I have it in block speed to fly. You can change it to just the variometer if you want to see the variometer all the time, which is what most people prefer. I like the block speed to fly number in there. And again, we'll have another video displayed in flight explaining a lot more about what's going on screen. But that concludes the last thing about the navigation is by clicking in with the right encoder, I can change screens. So this would be what we consider our flight screen or our navigation screen. So this is going to Williams, our destinations down here. If I click in, I can change it just to see my destination. If I click in again, it'll take me to my thermal assist mode and my Coke can. So I can cycle from thermal assist to my flight screen quickly if I'm trying to get information on my destination, all by clicking in on the right encoder. Also, to change the navigation up here, if you want to use the nav settings, fast spin right with left encoder down to navigation. I can now cycle through my screens, go to recent, there is no recent history, activate a task, turn point by number, so I can select Williams. Now we're going to Williams. It's going to select Williams, it's going to give me all my data going back to Williams with my margin height. Turn point by name. Airfield by distance is a really nice feature, so if you're trying to figure out what the closest airport is, there's my bearing and my altitude, or my bearing and distance to these different airports. If you're not quite sure where you are or know exactly what airports are around in your area, you're flying a new site, or you're just trying to change your alternative field in your GPS unit, because usually the ClearNav 2 is what you're navigating on. The Vario you're going to have set to your alternative airfield typically. I can go to outfield landings by distance if they're classified differently in your turn point database. Waypoint. I can also have a map displayed on this unit. I can click in, I can pan, I can zoom in or zoom out. There's my miles. Pan, upload, and zoom. And so if I zoom in, let's go with 2 miles. There you can see Williams, a little bit of a contrast, but you can see where you're going. I can just rotate and zoom out. There's Cooks, there's some of my other points. So if I use this I can use this 57 round display for navigation. Tasks, back to my nav screen. All right, well that concludes all of the navigation with the CNV 57 round display. So the same navigation that happens on this screen happens on this one. We just don't have the encoders, we only have the left and right arrows. So if I want to get to the flying screen, I hold the left arrow. If I want the ribbon, I click the left arrow. The ribbon will go away after 10 seconds. Same options are available on this ribbon that are available on this ribbon. We can see Williams is navigating. I need 1,200 feet to get there. That's with my 1,000-foot safety margin we built in. I still have my glide slope. I still have my average netto. I would get my top to bottom average climb and my last turn average up as I started circling. I have my McCready displayed. Here I have my McCready displayed, the little red arrow. So if I twist and change the McCready, that little red pointer is showing what I have. So here my red pointer is at 4. My McCready is set to 4. It changes my McCready on this screen. If I hold down the right arrow, that's going to take me to the display information. All of the same menu items we just utilized on this one, we would get on this one. So now we're going to go back to the right. Sorry, back to the left, back to the flying screen. Then I can cycle thermal assist, thermal map, McCready, speed to fly band, auto winds, destination, gallons, bugs. And with any one that I selected, all I have to do is use the up and down arrows to change the settings in there. Same with this one. If I clicked thermal assist, overhead map, McCready, speed to fly, auto winds, destination to Williams, US gallons, and by switching to the right knob and adjusting, it changes my values. I hope this that'll conclude it. So again, one fast spin, one click hold, back to our flying screen. This will conclude our setup video. I hope this is helpful in both the ClearNav Vario Square Display and the ClearNav Vario Round Display. Well, we made it. I know there's a lot of information in there, a lot of little tweaks. Again, as you go fly the unit, you'll find a few things that you like, a few things that you don't like. You're probably gonna have to go in and out of that profile a couple times and change it in your first season. But once you get it set up, it should be all ready to go. If you have questions, please contact us at either Williams Soaring Center or ClearNav Instruments. Remember, you can buy these units direct. If you're looking for that 3.8 software update, email us or call us direct and we can get you that information. And if you are interested in different videos, leave a comment, send an email to me directly, and I can get you any content you would like. Again, we're going to continue to produce this content on a semi-regular basis until we have all this information out for all of our units. Next, we'll have coming a video just on thermal assist for the 57 round display. So hopefully you guys are all enjoying. I really appreciate all the comments so far, and keep on commenting. And again, like and subscribe down in the corner here. Thank you.